One strategy that I love is actually complementing influence marketing with paid ads to amplify your success. Well, Courtney will give to us how exactly you do that and how you actually work with a full funnel approach, right? By looking at the entire customer journey to decrease your CPC and scale your campaigns. Cool session, looking forward to it. The stage is yours, Courtney.
I am so excited to be speaking to you today. Today, we're going to be talking all about influencer marketing and whitelisting and why it's so important. Before we get into that topic, I just wanted to quickly introduce myself. My name is Courtney Spritzer, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Socialfly. Socialfly is a leading social-first digital marketing and influencer agency. I started Socialfly with my business partner, Stephanie Carton, back in 2012. Over the past 9 years, we've represented over 300 brands, including Girl Scouts, WeTV, Conair, Fox, and Univision. I'm also the co-host of the Entreprenista podcast and the co-founder of Entreprenista Media, which is a platform that provides resources to women entrepreneurs and business leaders and celebrates their successes. Just last year, we also took our company remote like many businesses. And as a response to those challenges, we launched our first product, DigiCards. You can see them right here. So you can check that out at hellodigicards.com, and they definitely make your Zoom meetings more engaging and collaborative. And then just a little bit more about Socialfly. We're a female-founded and led team of experts that are setting the new standard for reaching, engaging, and converting women audiences on social media. We consider ourselves a non-traditional marketing partner, and we provide brands with social strategy, account management, influencer marketing, paid media, and creative services. We know that to be successful on social media, you have to do all of those things very, very well. And we have a talented team of experts at Socialfly that collaborate and make sure that everything is coordinated. We've been on the Inc. 5000 list twice, and we've also been featured on Adweek's top 100 agency list. We're a certified women-owned business. We're ranked #1 on Google, which is something that we're really proud of because it's a result of us practicing. We do a lot of our own marketing, and as a result, we rank #1 for social media marketing agency in New York City. As an example of this, we also host a weekly Clubhouse show every Tuesday at 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where we discuss a popular topic in social media and share with people everything that they need to know to be successful on social. And we're also a preferred Facebook marketing partner. Now let's get into it. The reason that we're all here is to talk about influencer marketing and whitelisting. Here's a quick overview on influencer marketing for those of you who may not be so familiar with it. On this slide, you can see some examples of the campaigns that we've executed over the years for our clients. And essentially, influencer marketing is the pairing of premium digital content with brands to create content that drives results. So over the years, many users of social media platforms have developed large followings or small followings that are growing, and they post content regularly. These people are what we call influencers or content creators, and they can help brands drive awareness. They can help brands test out new products, give them feedback on new products, introduce products to a target market. They could also help brands create a lot of content. And they can also help brands drive sales, which I'm going to talk to you about today with how whitelisting can do that. Here you can see some examples of different types of campaigns that we've executed over the years, from gifting campaigns, which are essentially campaigns where you are gifting a target list of influencers in hopes that they're going to post about it on behalf of your brand. Typically, these are unpaid campaigns. Then we have campaigns involving micro influencers, which are influencers that have a smaller following, but they can create really, really great content for your brand and create it in a very authentic way. And to replicate that authenticity in a studio would be very hard because you have to pay for the cost of models and props and recreate the scene. And these influencers are creating content and they're using their own day-to-day lives and their own settings. So it's a very, very authentic feel. Macro influencers are people that can get the word out about your brand the fastest because they have such large followings. Influencer campaigns can also be conducted on YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook. You can also create brand ambassador programs and also leverage influencers for contests. And a crucial component of your influencer marketing strategy has to be whitelisting these days. And I'm going to talk to you more about that. Just some quick benefits of influencer marketing. Influencer marketing helps with brand awareness. Influencers will drive instant credibility with the content that they post about your brand. So it's very, very helpful to hire influencers if you're introducing a new product to the market because they give you that kind of stamp of approval. Influencers are also great with audience segmentation. So if you're not sure which audiences are best for your brand, you can hire groups of influencers from diverse background who reach different niches of audiences and test to see which audiences are resonating best for your brand. Influencers can also help with storytelling and education. So hiring influencers to tell the story of your brand is very, very effective. Who better to tell your brand story than having it be a third-party story and someone giving their audience a specific use case and essentially a testimonial of why they use your product. It also really helps with driving sales. So influencers can organically help to drive sales just by posting to their audience. But you can also use whitelisting the influencer content to further push those sales. And again, we're going to talk about that shortly. How do we classify influencers? This is very, very important to understand because there are a wide range of types of influencers. And really how we look to classify them is by how many followers they have and how many people they're reaching of your target demographic. So I would put them into three categories. There's the aspirational influencers. These are the influencers that are leading the charge. They are the loudest, most influential voices and they can spread awareness and get the word out about your launch. They're typically in the 250,000 and up follower range across all their social media platforms. And then we have the believable influencers. These are the thought experts in a specific industry, and they lend credibility and will help to drive conversion. These tend to be in the around 50K plus range. And then we have relatable, the nano influencers, the micro influencers. These are the rising influencers who are growing a following. They haven't quite yet made it to that celebrity status, but they still are very, very influential. And typically they reach very niche audiences and are excellent at creating content for your brand in a very cost-effective way. Our strategic process when working with influencers is as follows. First, the first thing that we do, and this is the most important, is we create a list of target influencers. We do this using our own experience working with influencers and also software that we have to identify influencers that reach the exact target market that you want to reach. We have worked with many brands who have hired influencers who did not reach their target market, but the influencer themselves represented their target market. So be careful with that because it does happen from time to time when you are selecting influencers. Once you have your list and you feel good about who you want to reach out to, then it's all about outreaching to them and working on a partnership deal. Usually we have a contract in place that ensures that they're going to post within a certain time frame and over a certain amount of time. You want to get that contract in place because it ensures that they do what they're going to say they're going to do. And then from there, we measure and optimize. So once they post, we track all the results and the KPIs in real time, and then we can optimize accordingly. And then there's the whitelisting component. So you can amplify the influencer's content with paid media. And when it comes to finding the right partner for your brand, these 6 criteria is what's most important. So you have looking at the influencer's content and their posts to see if they've endorsed a competitor in the last 30 days. You don't really want to work with an influencer who is talking about all of your competitors. So that is something to look at. You want to look at their engagement rate. So you want to make sure that they have at least a 3% engagement rate. And engagement rate is measured by how many people are liking and commenting on their posts versus how many people follow them. And then also want to take a look at who their target market is. So you can do that using software or by asking the influencer to provide those statistics. And then take a look at their content that they post. Is the content that they're posting in their aesthetic? And then also take a look at what they're talking about right now. You want to make sure that your brand is working with someone who is actually talking about the industry or the products that you're trying to sell in a very, very authentic way. And now the moment we've been waiting for, monetizing your influencer marketing campaigns through whitelisting. So what is whitelisting? And this is the reason why we're all here. Whitelisting is essentially content that marries the power of influencer with paid media. So what we do with whitelisting campaigns is we get access to the influencer's account and we buy ads from their account so that the content or the ad is coming from the influencer. You can see a perfect example of that here through Lauren Conrad and her sponsored content and the campaign that she did with HelloFresh. She posted this and then HelloFresh whitelisted this piece of content and turned it into an ad. Why is this important? 92% of consumers trust recommendations from influencers over ads from brands, and 63% of females and 37% of males have purchased a product due to an influencer recommendation. So whitelisting gives us an advantage when we're communicating key messages because it allows you to reach more people than you would organically through the influencer just posting to their audience. And like I said, it works as follows. Essentially, the content becomes a dark post, and you, as the advertiser in the back end of typically Facebook, you can do this, but you can do this on other platforms too, can pick and choose who sees that content. And here is just a chart that shows you a visual of how whitelisting actually works. So again, when you hire an influencer and they post to their audience, only a percentage of that audience is going to see that content. You're not going to reach their full audience. But with whitelisting, it enables you to reach their entire audience, and you could actually reach people that don't even follow this influencer because you have the ability through Facebook's backend to specifically target the audiences you want to reach. Here's another amplification example. Let's say you have an influencer and you partnered with this influencer who has 1.3 million followers. The influencer posts the content and organically they reach a little over 300,000, which is really great. But now you can whitelist that content because you partnered with the influencer, you established it up front that you were going to have access to advertise the content that they created. And you want to make sure you talk about that ahead of time partnering with the influencer, because usually influencers will charge more for that ability. So now with whitelisting and access to their backend in Facebook and their account, you can reach the full audience that the influencer reaches, so an additional 1 million people. You can also target lookalikes of the people that engage with that post, which we have found is highly effective. And then you can also put this piece of content in front of the top performing audience segments that you already have through your always on paid media approaches. So this is very, very effective because it's putting new engaging content in front of an audience that you know is already interested in your product. How do we get started? First step, and this is always the first step to starting any type of campaign, is establish what the goal is. Are you looking to generate brand awareness? Do you want to drive qualified website traffic or drive sales? Then from there, we cast the right influencers and make sure you follow my tips in terms of choosing the right influencers. This is crucial. Again, look at their audiences, look at the types of content they're posting, and look at their engagement rate to be sure they're right for your brand. And then also discuss with them that you want to be able to whitelist the content and add that to the contract. From there, you want to secure advertising access to their respective influencers' handles. And there's a little bit of back and forth here because you need to give them instructions on how to give you access. And then once you have access, it's pretty straightforward from there. If you are experienced with buying Facebook ads or any type of ad online, it's the same process once you get access to their page. And then from there, you want to identify which audiences you want to reach for the whitelisted ads. Typically, that is the component that you're A/B testing. You're putting this influencer creative in front of different audiences to see which audience the content resonates best with. And then from there, you launch your campaign. You look at your campaign daily to see which audiences are converting best, and then you optimize accordingly. How do we track success of this? Well, in this scenario that I walked you through, the goal was to drive sales. So we track success based on how many sales the influencer was able to drive for your brand. This is something that can be measured if you have a pixel on your site and that is firing properly. And then you can optimize against the audiences that are driving the most sales. We also take a look at impressions, engagement rates, individual interactions, account growth, link clicks, comment analysis, and cost per engagement. These are all metrics that are important to track to see how the influencer is performing for your brand. And it's very, very important to know those KPIs up front. Here we get into best practices. So just some quick best practices on whitelisted content. Make sure the copy is succinct and has a clear call to action. Avoid soliciting engagement, which can affect the ad quality. So using terms like comment or tell me what you think, you want to avoid that type of language because it does impact the ad quality. And then you want to make sure that the organic content is produced with a paid first mindset, ensuring that the advertising guidelines and best practices are followed. So if you're familiar with buying ads on Facebook, you want to make sure that there's not a lot of text on the image and that all of the best practices are followed so that your ad does not get blocked. And then animated content such as Reels, we find generates an 82% higher click-through rate and a 48% higher conversion rate than static content. And we also see this happen organically too. When you post a Reel, it tends to get more engagement than static content. So that's definitely something to think about when you're hiring influencers on behalf of your brand. Hire them to create Reels for you because you might see a higher conversion rate with that. And then Facebook is a very, very strong platform for whitelisting amplification. So we recommend that if you are looking to drive sales, you start with Facebook and Instagram because they have incredible ad capabilities in order to whitelist. But again, other platforms have this capability as well. Here's just some examples of whitelisting campaigns. Here on the left, we have Life in Beverly Hills. She was promoting Hue. You can see that this is an ad. She used the right hashtags, #ad, and this ad was amplified through whitelisting, and this brand was able to target exactly who they wanted to reach with content that is authentic and on brand. Here in the middle, we have Investigation Discovery, who uses whitelisting to drive traffic to their D+ product. And they were also using this creative here, which you can see is very, very authentic to the influencer that posted this. And she is promoting true crime, one of their shows. And then we have another example here with a macro influencer, Ashley Iconetti. She is a famous Bachelor contestant, and she is promoting a new product, glove. So this is an example of using a big influencer to promote a brand new product to the market and getting the word out there. And whitelisting enables you to reach more people than Ashley Iconetti can reach organically. Here are just some insights and learnings from campaigns that we have run at Socialfly. So an international hair care brand reached out to us because they wanted to scale their e-commerce business in the US. They had not launched in the US before, so they were a relatively unknown brand. Of course, because they wanted to scale quickly, we recommended that they use an influencer whitelisting campaign. So we put together our list of recommended influencers. And as you can see here, here is an example of an influencer who posted, Ariel. And we whitelisted this content. We ran the media as an ad. And what we found was whitelisting drove 422% higher ad click-through rate compared to traditional ads. As we all know, creative is so important in determining the success of paid media campaigns, and influencers are excellent content creators. So this is the reason why this ad drove a lot of success. Power of influence is most effective on influencers. Followers who have previously engaged with an influencer's organic content are 26% more likely to click on whitelisted ads as compared to general brand target prospects. And the other result of this campaign that we found was that featuring influencers in their ads generated a click-through rate 40% higher than native influencer whitelisted ads. So another important thing to think about is not only taking the content from the influencer and buying the ad on their page, but also testing out, taking the content that they created and creating an ad and posting it on your own pages. Another approach that we wanted to share with you, or that I wanted to share with you, was a major entertainment network came to us because they were launching a new television special. In order to push the envelope for them, we recommended a strong influencer-first approach that leveraged the power of whitelisting to amplify very relatable content among their core audience. So you can see here, this is an example of a piece of content that the influencer posted. You can see they look mesmerized by what's on screen, and it was able to capture the attention of a lot of their followers. We use Facebook as the tool to amplify here, and we were able to get click-through rates 272% above that of Instagram. Whitelisting yielded a CPA of up to 70% lower than the traditional advertising efforts. Again, this is a really great example of how this works. And then we also found that whitelisting content generated a 9-point lift in ad recall when driving tune-in messaging as measured by brand studies. This is a 9% above average against North American averages. We covered a lot today about influencers, why it's so important to pick the right influencers, how to pick the influencers, and then, of course, some tactics and strategies around whitelisting. So these are the 4 takeaways that are very important, and I hope that you got out of this session. Influencer-led campaigns that incorporate whitelisting can positively affect basically all stages of the customer journey and can provide brands with the ability to implement a full funnel approach to influencer marketing. They can introduce a product to their audience and help with brand awareness. And then they can also help you drive sales. So very, very important to think about how you approach influencer marketing for your brand, because they can definitely move the needle. Influencer generated content can also be whitelisted through an influencer's account, but also serve a double purpose as lifestyle assets for your brand campaigns. So again, influencers achieve a lot of things. They can create content on behalf of your brand that you can then repost. They can help you reach a target audience organically through the audience that they reach. They can spread a message and story and demonstrate how to use your product. And they can also give you advertising capabilities through whitelisting so that you can take this content and reach the exact people that you want to reach. The other thing that we have found through whitelisting campaigns is that they have proven that they can help drive the frequency needed to sell at scale. This frequency depends on the product, objective, path to purchase, cost, and other factors. But the benefit of social is that you can effectively see the results no matter what. So again, when you whitelist, you get access to all of this information that you wouldn't typically get from just working with an influencer in an organic way. You have access to all the data and insights that you would have when you're running a typical paid media campaign. And then without whitelisting spend, and this point is really crucial, brands are reliant on social media algorithms working in their favor to reach the audiences of the influencers they selected. Basically, that means that you are reliant on whoever the influencer reaches organically. But with whitelisting, you now have control to reach the exact people that you want to reach and visibility into all the data to make informed decisions on how to buy. And that is all for today. Thank you all for listening. I am happy to share more information. If you have more questions, you can email me at courtney@socialflyny.com, or feel free to engage with Socialfly. Send us a DM at Socialfly on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you.